are now tuned in to DAR Sports Media, and we are back with Hoops Hour. The full crew is here. Of course, got our man True, writer for PFN. We got our guy Lee Harvey, and our primary guest, NBA analyst, big word, Tev Bands is in the house as well. We're here to break down these NBA playoffs for you. We can finally get a little break in the action. Like what old Aaron Gordon was talking about. It's funny. He didn't seem to mind the lack of rest when it gave them a huge, overwhelming advantage over the Miami Heat a few years ago to win a championship. That's weird. He didn't seem to say anything about it then. But we're here to talk about winners. We're here to talk about winners, not losers. We're here to talk about winners.
Bam.
And there's obviously one fan base that is not used to being a winner, and that is the New York Knicks. You guys are embarrassing yourselves a little bit over there. Like, it's the conference finals. Y'all didn't, beat Al Qaeda in a NBA finals after 9/11 or something. Like, you're just fucking carrying on for days and days about a conference finals. Starting to embarrass yourself a little. Like, I get it. I get the whole Knicks fans thing but come on now. Come on. That's some loser shit to be that fucking excited about a conference fucking finals. Not even make it to the finals or winning it. The conference finals. Anyways, the thing I wanted to start off with, and I wanted to get analysis from you guys about, is a little bit of outside perspective. I'm picking up on things. The thing I wanted to get analysis from you guys from right off the bat is I feel like the real thing that nobody saw coming here. I did not. Just a few weeks ago, I was seeing in group chats and places that I frequent people calling Tyrese Halliburton one of the most overrated players in the league. And this, that, and the third. I haven't heard nothing about these Pacers. I haven't heard these Pacers getting any love. I haven't, not a peep. And they are on the other side of the Eastern Conference Finals, not throwing a parade because they got there. Tell me about these damn Indiana Pacers, Tev. Like, what's the deal? Do they have a chance of making it all the way? Just tell me a little bit about these guys, man, and what was the key to them getting to where they're getting? Are they a serious championship contender?
Coming into the playoffs, I thought they were a second round exit. But at the same time, they were my sleeper. Like, I knew they could surprise somebody, shock somebody, but I didn't think they would do it in the fashion that they did it. The overrated thing with Tyrese Halliburton was always funny to me because I think the absolute opposite. I think he's actually underrated. I think he averaged around 19 and 9 this year. He's averaging about the same thing in the playoffs. I actually like the Pacers team because they can match any team's pace, ironically, in the league, or outrun any team in the league if they truly wanted to. So I like that about them because they can go to different gears, different levels, different paces. Me personally, I have them beating the Knicks in 6.
Okay.
And going to the NBA Finals.
What's the key? What do you think are the keys that put them over the Knicks in this series for you?
I think it's the different levels they can reach. We saw what they could do. We saw what they did first round, second round. How once their shooting got to a certain point and everybody got hot, it was nothing the other team could do. And this was the same thing last year. We saw it last year with every team they played last year, the Bucks. They beat the Bucks twice. They beat them last year. They beat them this year. They just beat the Cavs. And when they got to Boston last year, Boston themselves even said, even though it was a sweep, that was the toughest series they had because the Pacers never gave up. It always seemed like they could come back and do something crazy at every moment of the game. And I think the unpredictability of the Pacers is the scariest thing about them because they could be down 20 and somehow end the game with a dub. So I think that's Oh, you go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good. I'm looking for your analysis. I was just gonna ask, okay, what lifted this Nick? Because this whole time, and I know I'm not gonna ask any sensitive questions here. I'm just repeating what was said throughout the season. The whole season, everybody was like, "There's no point in even discussing anybody other than the Celtics and the Cavs. Don't even discuss them. Don't even discuss it. It's a 2-team conference. Nobody else is even close. It doesn't even matter." And now here we are. Neither one of those teams are there. So on the other side of this, what happened with the Knicks and the Celtics? What elevated the Knicks to this position?
I think Boston got too. I think they caught the Rocket syndrome. The 2018 Rockets.
Yep.
They fell in love with the 3-pointer way too hard. And instead of those, I think they blew two 20-point leads in the series.
Yep.
Instead of driving the lane or trying to get some type of clean mid-range look or something like that, trying to draw some fouls, they opted to go for the 3 most of the time, and that was the wrong decision. And that gave the Knicks confidence because they started missing, especially that first game. They shot like 6 for 40 or I'm exaggerating, but
60. They shot 63s.
Yeah, something terrible, something crazy,
something diabolical.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact number, but yeah, no, they just fell in love with the 3 too much. They literally, like I said, they caught the Rocket syndrome, and that's what happened to them.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's almost turning into the Boston Celtics syndrome because that what they fucked themselves in a couple of playoff runs prior to this on the same shit. I do believe. So Miami. It's getting there. It was almost to me, it was like the Green Goblin mask. Those fucking 3-pointers came back out and they succumbed to the intrusive thoughts. True, we were just going around the room. Around the room. Tev was giving me some analysis, and I was bringing up the fact that I haven't heard a fucking peep about this Indiana team.
That's what people
all
not
year
attention.
Into the
people
okay. So there we go.
Yeah,
tell us what people weren't paying attention to. Tell us about this Pacers team and if they're a true threat.
So I mean, we talking about a true threat. The only thing that's standing in their way of making the finals is the Knicks, and we know the Knicks can nick from time to time, right? So. Honestly, like I said, Halliburton, he don't fill up the stat sheet in terms of like his numbers. You know what I'm saying? Like his points. Like he can get you 20 and then 12, or he can get you like he did in I want to say game 2 or 3. He had like 14, 7, and whatever. But he had the step back 3 that basically took them out. Took the Cavs out. And Lee, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Lee. I'm not really sorry, but I'm slightly sorry. Like, I'm slightly sorry. You know what I'm saying? I'm slightly sorry, brother. You know, I watched that with joy because I don't really like the Pacers. I don't like Pascal Siakam. I don't like his name personally. But
I don't like bro either.
Yeah, but like I said, honestly, the Eastern Conference, I think it don't even matter, honestly. Like, in terms of a threat, if we're talking about any team that's going to make the finals and win against either Minnesota or Oklahoma City, I don't see the Pacers being that team. The Knicks the same way personally either. I wish Tay was on here so he could talk about OG and the Knicks or whatever too, but I don't see that. I think the Pacers can beat the Knicks because the Knicks
probably still, like the rest of the Knicks fans, he's probably still out busy celebrating, making a fucking conference finals like they, did something.
Hey man, when you ain't had no success in a long time, you gotta appreciate what you got when you can get it. So
I guess that looks like fucking Loserville to me, but that's
yeah. Them hitting dude in the head with that garbage bag was. I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, but that was crazy. That's crazy. I laughed.
People in the head with garbage.
I felt bad, but I laughed. I'm not gonna cap.
Lee Harvey, tell us about these Pacers, man.
Yeah, that was a shocking upset. But they earned it. They deserved it because of the way they bounced back from that game 3 loss that no one's really talked about. They bounced back from that loss with authority. And every time Cleveland tried to make a run, tried to at least tie the game late, and whether it's Siakam or it's Andrew Nemhard, they will always make plays down the stretch to separate themselves. I got Pacers in 6 because I got Pacers in 6 because of course Halliburton, but playoff Nemhard is a different being. Like in the regular season, you'd barely hear from him, but in the playoffs, he just makes big plays. Like he made. Remember in that last Knicks series last year, he had a bomb to tie the game or take the lead, something like that. And I feel like they got a better bench than the Knicks, and that might make the difference later on as we get further into the series.
So both of you guys got Pacers in 6. Pacers in 6. On the West side, OKC, man, this has been a long time coming, especially on this pod. The OKC team has been, favorites of ours, people that we've been rooting for to see succeed. And I'm going to be honest, man, I really didn't think Denver was going to give – I thought the championship pedigree had faded from them. I thought they were making excuses before the series even started. I thought, hey, this is going to be okay. This is going to be OKC's time to prove it, but also I don't think it's going to be that hard. And that did not end up being the case all the way to 7 games. Luckily, it's young legs over there on OKC. Was this a positive or a negative, do you think? Because, of course, on the negative side, it's like, okay, their legs are getting the hell beat out of them. 7-game series, real tough. But on the other end, what's the primary question we all have about OKC? Do they have the experience? Do they have the reps? Do they have the championship battle experience? So on the one hand, there might be a little bit of fatigue factor from going 7 games with a former champion team like that. But on the other hand, they got that experience. That's 7 playoff games against a championship level squad, and they came out on top, and they had those experiences. So do you think this is a positive or a negative, them going through the 7 games? What do you think of them in this matchup with the Timberwolves, Tev?
I think it was a positive that they went 7 with the Nuggets. Just because, like you said, championship pedigree type team, Jokic could have an amazing game for every game if he wanted to. But crazy enough, he only shot 9 field goal attempts. I want to note that in that last game, he kind of faded out in that last game, but it's a positive.
So you're saying maybe that's maybe a little bit of a maybe should play into the MVP conversation a little bit.
Absolutely. And another thing I want to add. In my lifetime, I'm turning 27 tomorrow. I've never seen an MVP award not be handed out in the second round. I just want to note that. Just want to note that. For as long as I've been conscious, I've never seen it. But I know how things work.
Yep.
I know how the game goes. I know what they really wanted. I know what the NBA really wanted. Didn't happen. But
it still hasn't been handed out.
Exactly. But Shea deserves it. And that's all I'm gonna say. But I think it was a positive just because now they're
No, don't make that all you say. Let's talk about it. That was the one-on-one matchup. Jokic did some things this year. I think that only 3 other players have ever fucking done his stat line this year for the season. But still, leading. There was another stat also that was, I believe it was only one time has the leading scorer. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna get this. The leading scorer in the NBA, who was also on the team with the best record, did not win the MVP. That's where I'm going with that. Mm-hmm. I think it only happened one time, and it was the year when the NBA just said, fuck it, we can't just give it to Jordan every year, so they gave it to fucking Malone. That was the only time it ever fucking happened before this. So Shea has that on his side. And like you said, hey, one-on-one, man up, 7-game series. Jokic
Shea
came
got
up
the
small.
Shea
Jokic
got
came
the
up small.
better of
Shea got the
Jokic.
ball. Yep. So talk about it. Shea should get it.
Yes, if the NBA was basing it off this series, which wink wink, I think they were. After Denver took that 2-1 lead, Shea, I think he 3 straight 30-plus point games to not only take the lead back but win the series. That last game, he severely outplayed Jokic. I think this was the best I've seen a team defend Jokic ever. Can we cuss on here? Can we?
Oh, fuck yeah, you can. That's what
Okay.
this is about.
This is one of the, and it's not rare, but in a long time, this is the first time in a long time I've seen Jokic shit the bed
Yeah.
when it really counted. That game, I thought the game was gonna go a whole different way because the first quarter they had a 21-10 lead. The Nuggets did, and Jalen Williams finally woke up out of his coma and decided to come play basketball along with Shea finally. But yeah, Jokic, I think he took Jalen Williams' place in that coma because I didn't see him for the rest of that game after that 21-10 lead. But
And Caruso guarded him most of the game.
perfectly, too. Perfectly. Had that boy in a lockbox. But yeah, Shea is the MVP. I just don't see. I get the statistical, like triple-double. I get it. 48 wins. Whatever. Shea averaged 32, 6, and 6 with 68 wins and the number one team in the league. He's now in the conference finals, just in case the NBA wanted to base it off anything else. There's no other argument that should be made. He is the MVP.
What do you think there, Lee Harvey?
Yeah, I agree. Shea should definitely get MVP now. And it's funny because going into Game 7, they had this stat running across the bottom line saying when facing elimination, he averaged 18 points a game, and he just basically doubled it last night. So, and as another crazy thing, he said he was nervous after the game. He said he was nervous going into Game 7, and then he used that as motivation.
That energy, yeah. I mean, that right there, like we talked about, positive, negative. Like, hey, you've been to a Game 7 against the best of the best, and you whooped the dog shit out of them. So, I mean, that has to have you feeling good going into this game. On the other side, it feels like it happened a long time ago, and it feels like the series was over a long time ago. But and I know it's a painful memory to dig into here for some of us on this pod, but Timberwolves overcoming the Warriors. I just don't feel like they're as spicy as they were the last couple of years, even though they're supposed to be elevated from that trade with the players that they added in the Knicks trade. I don't know. I don't feel like they got the same amount of punch this year as they have in the past, but they're able to overcome. Man, it was tough to see. Jimmy Butler's not that guy no more. Not that guy, pal. That's a wrap. Tev, come on, tell me about it, man.
He had a broke ass. Jimmy had a broke ass, man. I gotta give him a pass. If he wasn't hurt, I'm a very honest person because he pissed me off in the 2023 playoffs in the finals. So I'm a very honest person. If he had not got hurt and he still played this way, you would have seen me slandering him on the TL still to this day.
I believe
and so forth. But because of that fall, and just because I've had an injury similar, I gave him some slack.
Oh, we got that.
Now, the person I'm not going to give any slack to is Pops.
Oh,
okay.
He fucking sucks. I don't know what Joe Lacob thought, even uttering or believing that he could replace Klay Thompson. Now, mind you, Klay was kind of trashy too, but I take that trash over Pods any day of the week. Now he I guess he had some saving grace in the last game. He had 28 points, but brother, it's too late. It's a charity case at this point. It's too late. The rest of the games, all we needed was one game. All the Warriors needed was one game. Couldn't do that for him. But it's whatever. I hope he's ready to learn Chinese or something, because he won't be in the league for too much longer.
Man. So tell us about these Timberwolves, man. What are we looking at? Like, why are they in the conference finals?
Okay, yeah, that was an easy win, but
wow,
yeah, they bullied Luka, and I didn't feel bad for. I feel bad for him at all, but yeah, they bullied him. And
since Drew dropped out, I'll do it for him. See, they're not that nice. They're not that nice.
Not that nice. Not that nice at all. But the fact that they didn't have a big, Luka can't play a lick of defense. Brian getting old, he don't even care to play defense no more. That was sort of an easy dub for them. So I guess the Warriors too. Steph went out. They had to worry all they had to worry about was Pods and Kuminga. Shout out to Kuminga for redeeming his name. But they haven't truly been battle tested this postseason. They've been battle tested before, so I'll give them a pass, but not with Julius Randle. I don't know if I trust Julius Randle in a higher pressure situation now. But to go on, I have OKC realistically in 5.
Oh man, tell us why.
I think Minnesota's offense is very stagnant and stale, to a point that OKC's defense is so staggering that it's not going to be much they can do. It's not going to be much of an operation that they can actually do.
It'll be easy to create situations where there's gaps created.
Yeah, it'll be easier to put them in tougher situations, make them think more than they need to. So
okay.
Yeah, and I have Shea. I got Shea winning the matchup too. I'm not gonna lie.
So, say OKC goes. Is this about to happen? Is OKC an overwhelming matchup for both the ECF teams?
The Pacers kind of scare me because, again, like I said, it's the unpredictability.
You just don't know what team's going to show up. Yeah.
It's the unpredictability, because if they could come in, and OKC's defense is some of the best I've seen, but if the Pacers get hot, I don't necessarily know if OKC can match that offensively.
That's how they beat Cleveland. They got hot.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if they can match that off. I'm not gonna say I don't know. They can, but in a 7-game series, if they get hot, like they could possibly do something insane. But realistically, I have OKC winning it all.
Man, the Pacers with a championship. This feels like 98 all over again. The danger. Lee Harvey, how do you feel about this matchup? OKC, Timberwolves, who you going with and why?
I got OKC in 6. And like what you guys mentioned, they have a better defense than Minnesota. Minnesota's defense last year, if they carried that into this season, I would probably say Minnesota in 7. But this season, I'd take OKC in 6. Also, I don't know. How's Rudy Gobert going to be effective because it's a big drop off at the center position, going from Jokic defending Jokic to now you basically don't even got to worry about Gobert offensively.
Yeah. So OKC in 6, do you feel like OKC is an overwhelming matchup, or Minnesota, just for that matter, against either one of these ECF teams? Are we both pretty confident we're looking at a Western Conference champion of the NBA this year?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, because you're concerned about the Pacers, right, Tev?
No. If the Knicks make it with Minnesota, I think the Knicks win.
Oh.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I could see that. They're kind of similar teams to me, honestly.
And it's a storyline there. The clear, it's a
big
clear
time,
storyline
big, because that's the big trade. Yeah. That would be
Yeah.
insane. What do you think?
I think
there,
the
though?
wing. I
go
think the
ahead.
Wings do it. OG and Mikal
Yep.
will overwhelm Minnesota defensively.
I agree with that.
And
Especially because I feel like if Minnesota wins against the Thunder, it's not going to be an easy series. Like they're going to come into that. They're going to come into that Knicks matchup potentially. Either way, the Pacers or the Knicks, they're going to come into that matchup having had to fight for their lives to get there.
Yeah.
6 or 7 games.
Yeah. And leaving Jalen, because I feel like it'll be some close games if they make it with Minnesota, but letting Jalen Brunson get to the clutch, it's scary.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing I'm scared of with the Pacers. If they're having a bunch of clutch games, close games, Jalen Brunson is liable to take over every single one of them.
Blackout, yeah.
Yeah, he's liable to take over every single one of them.
Hey,
so you go ahead.
I'm not gonna lie, Halliburton kind of clutch too.
Yeah, true.
That's true. But I don't know the level that Jalen Brunson's been on this season. He just won. Yeah. Did he win Clutch Player?
Yes.
Yeah, the level he's been on in the clutch this year is like, if it gets there, I'm almost certain that the Knicks are going to win. Like if it's a 2-5 to point game, like if the Knicks are up or down, I feel like Jalen Brunson is like, okay, just give me the ball. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get this win. We're going to get out of here. Like I'm to that point where he's super comfortable. I'm comfortable with him having a close game and him taking a win home.
Mm-hmm.
No matter the team.
Okay, so even if it's the OKC and the Knicks, you feel like if those matchups get close, it's going to be dangerous.
Yeah. They got to throw the best defender at Jalen for sure.
Yep.
Whoever they think that is, Dort, Caruso, whoever they think that is, they got to throw the best one. They might have to double them.
Mm.
The MVP? We're talking MVP?
So the MVP. So we already did a little bit, and everybody on the panel said it's definitely Jokic. So what do you think? No,
Definitely.
It's not what they said. I'm just trying to stir shit up. So Jokic came out there the other day, Game 7, fucking 9 points, 9 shots.
Look, MVP. Y'all already know who my choice for MVP was anyway. So we've had this discussion ad nauseum by now. SGA clearly MVP. Clearly, I'll say this, and I want to ask Tevin this question because I was thinking about it. Right. So Aaron Gordon played with a grade 2 hamstring strain. But we saw plenty of other players, maybe it could be age, athleticism, whatever. They could not go with grade 1, Steph being one of them. So what does that say about Aaron Gordon that he's willing to go out there and play 30 plus minutes on a grade 2 hamstring strain? What does that say? But I'll tell you what it don't say. It don't say that the Denver Nuggets are in the conference finals because they lost and they got blown out in Game 7, and they should have. And I saw people saying like, "Oh, OKC should be like, disappointed. They should feel whatever because they had them take them to 7 games." I saw people saying that. Like, mind you, these are idiots. These are people who are not
Well,
understand the
we
game.
discussed. So you think that was so we discussed, is that a positive or a negative? We all said it's a positive because the whole question about OKC is they don't have championship deep playoff reps, and then they got a bunch of them against a championship team.
Yeah, I think people get too caught up in this idea of Jokic being like he's carrying the team. That like they only had Jokic.
It's like the same team that won the championship as far as the stars go. What are you talking about?
But that's the problem. I think that is the problem with discourse in sports, and especially basketball, is when you're looking at what Jokic accomplished. Jokic is amazing. He is, you can say he's the best player in the league for sure. He's going out there putting 35, 15, and 10 on any given night. However, when you look deep into what Jokic does on the court, Jokic's usage rate is so insane that his statistics, to me, I sometimes feel like Giannis's statistics are right on par in terms of impressiveness, because I don't think Giannis is as fluid with what he does. He's just power, but the average 30, almost 31, 12, and 6, like with Dame on the floor too. And, Dame liked the ball in his hand a lot too. So I think when people put Jokic on this pedestal that he's so far above everybody else, I feel like it takes away from the other players that are doing great things. And SGA led the league in scoring. He averaged almost 33 a game. How many players do you can say that about? We're talking about guys like Allen Iverson did that. Kobe did that. Mike did that.
I bet.
You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron ain't never averaged 33 a game for a whole season. So, you know what I'm saying? You can talk about how SGA get his points and how he does that, stuff like that. He plays the game how he played the game. James Harden averaged 35 and 36 or whatever, and he was getting 10 free throws a game. And we was complaining about that back then. So I think the MVP is clearly SGA. And I'm glad that we have a conference finals with all these new guys that are going to get their first ring. Basically, like, for me, my bias, I would have liked Steph and the Warriors to be in this position because I just wanted to see Steph get number 5. And I fully believe if Steph didn't get hurt, they would be in the conference finals. I like what I saw from them against Minnesota with Steph on the floor. I think that's almost a quick series. Steph was on a mission, and it's unfortunate that happened. But
so that leads me into my next question, my next and final question.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're pretty definitively. Tev said, and I was a little surprised, but maybe you agree. Tev said this is OKC in 5.
I'll say 6.
Okay,
I'll say 6, and now here's why. OKC is going to take game 1. Game 2 is a toss-up. I think they can split the games in Minnesota. And then, as we see, OKC has a gear that they can go to, which is why they're a 68-win team, which is why they're number 1 team in the league this year. Also, the bigs on OKC leave a lot to be desired to me sometimes. Hartenstein's great when he wants to be. Chet is great when he wants to be. And I hope this is a series where this Julius Randle Linsanity run ends, because this is bullshit. This is absolute bullshit, bro. This is bullshit. I've never
you see the shots he was making against
like, come on, man. He was hitting step back threes, and he was like hitting like 30-footers, and it's like, that's not your game. That's not your game at all. So personally, bro, I think I personally think that if the Wolves lose in 5, I wouldn't be surprised. I'll give him 6, because as much as I love Ant, I just think when Ant goes against a team that's just overall built better than him, better than his team, which I do think OKC is obviously built better. I know they split the season series, so this could go 7. This could go 7. It could really go either way. And personally, for me, if I had to pick a personal preference, it's hard because Anthony Edwards is one of my favorite players in the game.
Yeah.
And honestly, outside of Steph and like the old guard and like KD and guys like that, Ant's probably my favorite player to watch. Personal issues notwithstanding, obviously, that are going on. but you know what I'm saying? He's my favorite player to watch, and I like his attitude and the mentality he brings to the court. So once you get into the OKC side of things, Like, I'm okay if J Dub and Chet don't win a championship. After what happened with Chet and oxtails and ribs on Thanksgiving, I really don't want to see him succeed at all, personally. But I really don't want to see him succeed. But no, I would love to see Ant make the finals, but that means Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert would have to also make the finals.
That's rough.
Can't have that happen. Just can't have that happen. But shout out to Alexander Walker, Jay McDaniels. They said they got a great team over there in Minnesota. They have a great team in Minnesota. But yeah, I'm gonna go with,
either way.
Yeah, I'm going with OKC.
Either way, Minnesota or OKC. Do you think that they're a bad matchup for either one of these teams coming out of the East?
Yes and no. If I had to pick what the dream NBA Finals would be for, I think most people, I would say that from this point for narrative, the Timberwolves and the Knicks would be the one where it's like, oh, they made the trade and blah blah blah, blah and all stuff like that. But if I gotta watch Julius,
I would love to see
finals,
that young OKC team going into Madison Square Garden in the finals. That would be fucking sick.
I think that's going to happen. I fully believe that's going to happen. I fully believe OKC is going to crown themselves this year, because how many times have we seen a 67+ win team not complete the journey? That's just how it goes. And so, SGA, honestly, for the last 3 seasons has shown he's taken a tremendous leap in what he does. And I think when you get into looking at OKC as a team, they have, like I said, I think they could have got caught slipping if they went against the Warriors in the conference finals, because before Jimmy Butler was there, the Warriors went like 3-1 against them in the season series, which is regular season also. But OKC didn't look like a well-oiled machine in the playoffs so far, at least against Denver. If they have teams that are a slight matchup and they can't slow Steph down, Jimmy Butler, if he was healthy, there's a whole different aspects of this that would have made this game a lot different. If this whole situation a lot different if the Warriors were there. I think if the Celtics were healthy, we'd be looking at maybe a different situation. But even then, I can't say that, because Tatum went down and they were about to go down 3-1 anyway. So I think fatigue is also a thing. And the Wolves went to the conference finals last year. Well, not the same. Obviously, they didn't have Randall at the time. But whoever comes out the West is beating the Knicks or the Pacers. Mostly because I think the Knicks are going to win the series. I got Knicks in like probably 6 or 7 personally. And the Knicks have been running their top 7 players 40 to 45 minutes. Yeah. And fatigue is going to catch up to you. And look, man, Karl Anthony Towns,
especially with OKC, they just have guy after guy after guy they can throw at you. Go ahead, Karl Anthony Towns.
Because you know what, they went like 11 or 12 deep in the game in the playoffs. Yeah, which I know, like I said, you're not necessarily supposed to do that, especially if you have all your players available. But I think they have such a versatile group that even the deficiencies in their team, they're able to override that, and they're able like that run they went on against Denver in the fourth, was a game 5 when I thought it was about to be a wrap for them. It was like they were down 10 or 11. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I watched their resolve and their ability to go and just go get it done, and they cooked in that fourth quarter. So, like I said, I think this is OKC's year. I will say this, and I gotta ask Tev this, because I know Tev, you a KD fan like me. I'm sure everybody loves KD, but the SGA replaced KD as number 1 on the OKC Mountain. He bring that championship home?
Absolutely.
Oh, fuck yeah. What? Yes. Absolutely.
I just want to hear it.
You about to hurt my heart. I'm answering this question, but yes.
So this would be the ultimate season if you think about it, because SGA is probably going to be on the all defensive team this year, right? I feel like he would have to be on the all defensive team. So we're talking about all defensive team, MVP, scoring title, NBA Finals, and a possible Finals MVP in the season. That is going to put SGA in some conversations if that happens.
And this feels like it was a fucking year ago, but he had Canada very, very fucking competitive in the Olympics as well.
Yeah, it was cooking. Sure, and I'll be honest, they could have gave the MVP to SGA last season too if they really wanted to. So he could have, you know what I'm saying? He could be a back-to-back because like I know people are like, oh, Luka, Jokic, whatever. But at the end of the day, man, SGA is doing what he's doing, and he's got his team looking like they about to win a championship. And I know people like clown them for their camaraderie and their closeness as a team and their jokes and stuff, which I guess if you think is corny, whatever, that you can think is corny, but that's what makes teams great. That's what build the teams. Like we look at the dynasties of before, like people look at the Bulls in The Last Dance, like the Michael Jordan documentary and think, oh, Jordan punched Steve Kerr and Dennis Rodman went missing in Vegas. But that doesn't change anything about a team. We see the Warriors, they going out and playing dominoes together. That's how they keep their team together. You look at I was gonna say something about the Lakers, but I've seen no camaraderie from the Lakers at all. So I can't really go off of that one. But like you see a lot of teams do a lot of bonding things to build and build their chemistry. And that is what's important in sports. You have to build your chemistry, you have to build on what you need to take it as far as possible. And I think OKC just has it. This is a team that's been together. J-Dub's ascension and rise as the, pretty clear number 2 on the team is completely shocking to me because we all thought it was going to be Chet, and Chet hasn't quite got there yet. So, I'll say OKC in 6. I'll say, like I said, Knicks in 6, maybe 7. I want Knicks and Pacers to go 7. I need a game 7 in the Garden. I need all of the like fanfare out. I need the crowd to go crazy. I need it to come down to like the last 10 seconds. And then Halliburton hit like a 3 on some Reggie Miller shit. And then Jalen Brunson come back down and hit a 3. And they just trading threes. And it's like 1 second left. And I'm going to say this. OG Anunoby gets the last second bucket and sends them to the So that Tay can come over here and be.
Oh my gosh, Tay will be fucking just. It'll be over with. Tay will retire if that happens. It'll be like it ain't getting no better. I'm out of here,
bro. Listen,
going out on a win.
As long as Rudy Gobert and Pascal Siakam do not make the NBA Finals, I will be happy. I will be happy. I can deal with Josh Hart in the finals, OG, Mikal Bridges. I can even deal with Cat going to the finals, especially if Cat loses in like a hilarious way. Because I think OKC will smoke them in 5. I think OKC will smoke the Knicks in 5. Personally, I think that's going to be a quick series because OKC plays at such a fast pace. Imagine being on the Knicks and you play 45 minutes and you win 7 games with the Pacers.
That'll be a hilarious way for it to end because everybody. What was it? February? We were talking about how. The Knicks didn't really have any chance to advance their playoff position, and Tibbs was still playing them for 40 a minute any fucking ways, and it's gonna end up fucking them in the end. And then who do they end up going against? The fucking young legs. We can throw 12 players at you, fucking OKC, and they end up getting fucking smoked. That would be a very poetic way for things to play out.
You know what? You know what? And when you put it like that. I want the Knicks to make it now because
oh boy,
you know you put that into some good perspective.
Pain, I get it. Yeah, you want the pain. I understand.
Yes, that's a good perspective to put it in. Yeah, I want it to happen that way.
I will say this for the Knicks.
I want it to happen that way.
History could repeat itself. The last time the Knicks were in the NBA Finals, what happened? They got 5 gamed by a team with a growing star. And granted, obviously David Robinson was on his way out, but it's 26 years ago. 26 years ago since they made the finals. But it was also 26 years ago when they closed out a series in MSG, which they just did against the Knicks. History is going to repeat itself. They're going to struggle to, and if I'm not mistaken, did they not beat the Pacers in the conference finals to make the finals in 99? I could be wrong. It could be the second round.
They did.
So
there we go.
History repeats itself. OKC is about to smoke their boots. OKC is going to raise a championship banner. And if OKC can't get it done, and I got to sit through, one of my best friends is a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, and he hates Julius Randle. He hates Rudy Gobert. He said it's like he had sold his soul. And this is what happens if he sold his soul. And I disagree with that statement. But Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle winning an NBA championship would be one of the absolute worst things that could happen to the game of basketball, to the sport of
Absolutely.
basketball, to sports in general. So, as much as I want to see Ant get a championship, I have to
pass on it this year.
Yeah, I'm a pass. Well, get Rudy
Well,
off the team. Get Rudy off the
There you
team.
go. That's what I'm saying.
And
Yeah,
that's it.
maybe some changes. We'll be in a
Yeah.
better place. Well, history will repeat itself right here next week because we'll be back with Hoops Hour covering all of the updates of the NBA conference finals, breaking down what we have seen so far. Like earlier on this week, we put up the NFC East offseason grades. We're covering offseason grades for every NFL team week in and week out right now here on DAR with our football coverage. We're going to keep doing that NBA or NFL offseason grades, NBA Hoop Hour. We got other stuff coming up real soon. Me and True in a couple of weeks are going to do another World of Wrestling, get you guys caught up on all of the happenings and all the major wrestling companies. And NBA draft season is right around the corner. Me and Apollo are going to do the big blowout that we do every year on the NBA draft coming up real soon. There'll be some other stuff to discuss there because it was a very interesting lottery situation a couple weeks ago. We'll have to dig into that on that particular pod. All that, so much more here on DAR Sports Media. And that is because the world of DAR never stops.